Well, I did it again, and I went over two tapes, but and I apologize again. And again, I want to just apologize again for my last set of videos. That wasn't fair for people to have to hear me ranting like that. I'm really sorry. I really want to be the nicest guy in the whole world. I really do. I would love that. And as anybody can see, I'm really not. And it hurts me. It really does because I really I want to try to draw people in, through attraction, through kindness, through words of encouragement and comfort. Draw the enemy in. I know the enemy hates me for exposing them. That they are inhumane, that they are, that their will and God's will are antithetical to one another. I just want to, draw them in. But you know what? It's so unnerving. It's just, it's very difficult to reconcile my own thoughts sometimes, and I apologize because, but I sometimes I lose it, and I think that shows when I lose it when I start ranting and banging on the table and but I am upset. I really am. I am indignant. I hate injustice, and it's just been abounding in the land, and it keeps going this direction. So it's very trying. It's very difficult for me, and I know so many others too. And that's why I empathize with the younger generation because, I mean, we're just handing them hell on a platter. That's it. And people got to understand it. It's so much worse now than it was 50 years ago, socially, economically, and politically speaking. That we just need to be honest. And you're going to be a lot easier on the younger generation when you realize what a pile of dung that we've handed them, how much harder it is, and it just now it's their fault. Now they got to stop it. That's why so many of them are killing themselves, they're taking opium and whatever. I mean, they just want to run, not walk away from this thing, and I don't blame them. Suicides up and all this. I mean, what do we expect? What do we expect? I mean, it's just misery, and we're all going to get our share. There's no way that you're going to skate on this thing. I don't care. You might think you are, and you can say, I'm safely ensconced in my fortune, and I got my beautiful wife or husband, and everything's just peachy keen for me, and I can't worry about the plebs. That's your problem. Just do what I did. Look, I did it, so you can do it too. This attitude, I've heard that too. If I can do it, you can do it. And is that the answer? Is that the answer when the guy walks in at the auction? You're just trying to buy life. You're just trying to survive and pay your cost of living. And then the guy comes in and he just wipes you out. He blows you away. He says, no, I'll pay a lot more for that thing. What's your last bid? Oh, no, I can top that. And this is what they call capitalism. It's crony capitalism. This is what price fixing is. This is market manipulation. This is how it works. It's phony baloney. This is what this collusion of special interest groups. And a special interest group, remember, is no more than a select. It's a separate interest group where their interests are divided and separated from yours. So it's good for them and their group of people, but it's bad for you and your group of people. And here's this idiot talking on the ad here. This guy, oh, you can do, he's a rich guy dad, telling everybody make a fortune in real estate, and that's what everybody has. More millionaires have been made in real estate. So come to California and you try that. You can buy the low end properties, ones that some struggling young family would just love to have that low end property and chance to buy it. No, you're going to come in as an investor, a speculator, a flipper, and you're going to snatch it out from under them because you know how to get OPM, man, other people's money out of the bank. And you're teamed up, man, elbow to elbow with those, ruthless investors who don't care. It's dog eat dog, man. Get with the program. It's every man for himself, man. Abandon your stupid conscience. Be one of us. It sickens me. God help us. God help us. And I bless everybody. I want the best for everybody. But I'm telling you, repent or perish, man. A lot of people are going to be caught with their pants down. That's why I always say I'm a watchman on the tower, because I don't want your blood on my head, on my hands. And the only way I can get away from that is by warning people. It's serious. People are dying. People are dying. How many times I have to warn you that your business practices make a big difference? They are a big deal. And you're not going to stand before God and justify it because, well, it was good business practice in my mind. It was the way of the world as the world defines it. I was just trying to find success and prosperity in the world. And I had to shun okay, the commoners in order to join that group, okay, of successful people, monetarily speaking. Prosperity is as defined by the world. Just make a lot of money and get on top of the game, king of the hill, and be in with that group. Okay, it's not going to fly. I'm telling you. I mean, I'm trying to save people from hell because that's where you're going to go if you have that mindset. If you think that you can just divorce yourself from the welfare of other people, I got news for you. You can't. Okay, our welfare is inextricably interconnected. That's a matter of fact. That's the way God made it. It's called a fail-safe, so that God's will is always done. It reminds me of the commandment to go forth and be fruitful and multiply. Okay, he made sure that was going to work. Look at how good it feels. This is how the job got done. God made damn sure it felt really good to procreate. So he put drugs in our body. You know, I talk about loving the procreation drug. I'm not talking about Viagra or Cialis or something, folks. Okay, some herbal remedy. I'm talking about the drugs that God put in us. They're in your brain, in my brain, and it feels really good, and we all know that. And that's a beautiful thing. That's all I could say. That's the procreation drug. The ones he provided, look them up. Oxytocin is one of them. Just these hormonal type drugs that are stimulated in our brain when we engage in sexual activity. And so God knew what he was doing, and he knew that we were going to do it on our own. I mean, even, what's this Waters guy, is that his name? The leader of the Pink Floyd group, he was on this CBS Sunday Morning this past Sunday, and he was talking about it, you know. And he said, I'm afraid people are going to find out, you know, I'm a wanker, you know. A lot of people, what's a wanker, you know, what, he's a phony, what's he saying, you know, that he's just doing all this for money. I think Pink Floyd is an awesome group, very profound and very unique group. I love these guys. I have ever since the first music came out. They've been hitting the chords, man, hitting it right on. And they're a real group. And these guys, they bump heads sometimes. And, you know, he was talking about how the band has broken up and gotten back together, and they get these headstrong individuals in there. But, you know, this idea that, you know, he's a phony, he was a kind of a confession. I'm a wanker, you know. It's like, well, who isn't a wanker? You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I mean, you know, and the interviewer, he kind of laughed, he chuckled at it because, I mean, that's everybody. I mean, hell, they teach this stuff in college, and God knows it. God knows we're all wankers. I mean, who can hide from it? I mean, if he didn't want us to be wankers, he could have made our hands like claws, right? Instead of making, you know, facilitating it, making it so easy, right? So I'm just saying, I'm not trying to excuse it. I'm just saying, look, we're not supposed to be cognizant that that's wrong. This is where the fall of man came in, and with the knowledge of good and evil. Okay, we should know about these things, right or wrong, in regard to our sexuality. We shouldn't even know that we're naked, okay? See what a departure that is from the way it is? So I just thought that was a very interesting thing for him to say, and I thought that, you know, that I would, you know, just bring that up. But, you know, these are the procreation drugs that, you know, I'm talking about. And I'm not going to say what's right for you or what's right for him or her, because I want to be a strong man. I know what I want, and I know that it's not easy, especially in a world that just gets worse and worse, harder, and that desire to escape from it is stronger and stronger. It's just like this clash of good and evil coming together, and people just needing to find more and more forms to escape, you know, or they want to escape more often, or whatever it is. Something's going on here that I've never witnessed before in my life, and that's what it is. And that's to put my finger on. They cannot just keep on raising the bar on humanity, the cost to survive. Okay, that's the cost of living, without ramifications, without profound implications, traumatic implications, life and death implications, life and limb. That's what it all comes down to. People aren't hooking up. They don't. In the Western culture, that's what we do. We back away from breeding because we just can't afford it. And we're prideful, so we say, well, we're not going to do it to go on welfare. Though you see the hippie class, that's what they'll do. They'll go out and have a baby because now they leapfrog on the list for Section 8 housing. Well, now we got to save the children, right? It's about the child. You understand how you can get, you know, bumped up on the list, so to speak, by having kids going on the welfare system? But a lot of people won't because they say, no, I'm just too prideful. I'll just be a wanker all my life. So, yeah, in that sense, I feel sorry for the millennial generation. And they need to just demand justice. Be a Thomas Jefferson. Say, no, I'm going to have kids. And you know what? I'm going to tell you, no, I'm not going to let you raise my cost of living anymore. No. No, I'm going to find ways to survive. I'm going to do, what do the immigrants do? They live, there was one case where there was 118 immigrants in one house down in Southern California. 118 live in one house. Well, maybe that's what we, the Anglo-Saxons, we of the Western world, are going to have to learn to do. And that's blacks, whites, all of us. American is American. Color doesn't mean a damn thing to me. Nationality, religion, all that stuff. Gender, I could care less. Okay, survival. Humanity's humanity. And we all have a right to survive. So we all got to embrace what works for the immigrants and start doing that. And start living 10 people to a house, 20, whatever it is, to bring our cost of living down and survive. I mean, one way or another, we're going to have to put our foot down. And I'm just trying to help people, with ideas on how to do that. Because this is what I really want more than anything else. I just want things to start getting better for the least of men. That is Jesus. Okay, so you can't divorce yourself from Jesus. Your conscience absolutely, unequivocally won't let you divorce yourself from Jesus. And the least of men out there who you might think of a pathetic drunk or drug addict, lazy, and just a low life, the despicables, the untouchables, okay, the criminals and all that. Okay, just let them, they made their bed, now they got to lie in it. If you have that attitude, that's your attitude toward Jesus, and you will stand before him someday, and you will try to justify that attitude. And if it doesn't fly, if it doesn't hold water, okay, then you're going to hell. Okay, it's that simple. I'm just trying to save you from hell. I'm not condemning anyone. I'm not judging anyone. I'm trying to save you from that fate by the things I teach and preach and inform people of and educate people of. So back to where I left off at the end of the last one. Let's see, where was I? Oh, about adversity makes men, but too much adversity kills them. Yeah, because poverty is definitely one of the premier, paramount methods of adversity. Tyranny can be seen as adversity. Oppression can be seen as adversity. Enslavement can be seen as adversity. And that's what I'm talking about. And, while Victor Hugo has some relevance in this world, it's a paradoxical thing. Because if God had his will, none of us would ever know economic depravity. Would never be deprived economically. Would all have Donald Trump would be everyone's dad. And he's not going to let his children go for want? Never. So what, is God less good as Donald Trump? No, of course not. So it'd be exponentially, infinitely better if we let God run the show. When Jesus Christ is ruling over the affairs of men, economics, politics, all this stuff, social issues are not going to be an issue. We're going to be children frolicking on God's green earth, serving each other because we damn well want to. It's an instinct. It's intuition. It's what we want to do. It's the way we were made. It's how we gain satisfaction and gratification from life. We're artists that want to express ourselves. We want to love and be loved. We want to appreciate and be appreciated. We want to give. We want to take. That's how we are. That's a creation God made, us in his image and likeness. And our destiny is fantastic if we accept the message. And if we're honest, and it might seem like I'm putting people down of different trades. I know one thing I said stuck in my mind. I got a nephew that's a plumber, and I made the statement that the job a plumber does is, isn't much more difficult than that of a dishwasher. And in a sense, it's true. I've done enough plumbing. It takes a little more thought. You got to learn a little bit more. But it's doable. It's doable for anybody. Yeah, Monkey probably couldn't have the intellect to be a plumber or a dishwasher. But if you're a dishwasher, to do it right, you got to do it right. I've worked as a dishwasher with these industrial dishwashing machines. You got to do it right, man. You want the dishes to come out clean the first time. There's pre-rinsing to do. There's having the right temperature. It's loading soap into it. You got to know how to operate it. You got to know, make sure that you're not going to jam it. Forks and knives aren't going to drop through the equipment and jam it up and screw it up. I mean, you got to be careful. And sometimes you better learn how to fix it. You better learn how to do it safely. You got to shut off the machine if you're going to be reaching down there into dangerous areas. You got to know what you're doing. So, any one of us, the point I guess is that any of us can learn anything. And this idea that, we're going to make sense of this world where actors are paid these millions and rappers and sports people are going to be paid all this money and politicians and the stockbrokers and all these people, these bankers and all this are making these phenomenal fortunes. These landlords like Rich Dad and all this that just parlay, they're running the monopoly board and all this and making these fabulous. They're no more useful to society. Actually, a lot of these are just big fat leeches. We're all paying the advertising cost for the sports and the theater and all this stuff, the music. We're all paying through advertising. We got to pay higher prices for all the products we use. It's going in their pockets. So when the money, gets poured in the system, people want to blame the welfare workers. It's there. We've got a willing workforce. So who can deny? So shut up about the welfare workers. Let them, if they want to be sages and live on welfare, that's their problem. That's their business. But if they feel like they're serving humanity to the capacity God's calling them to, it's none of your business. You're not their conscience. It's not your place, and it never will be your place. That's